what it looks like now in hindsight, retrospect, right? Because when you're short to close or something and you don't make it, you lose EMD, or something goes wrong in your career, right? You haven't studied for a test because you went on the trip with the boys. That feeling, bro, of like, what am I going to do? My whole life is hanging in the balance. And then if you don't make it, then obviously then in that moment, it's like, this is terrible. In retrospect, it's like, what did I learn? How can I not repeat this again? Well, hey, look, I'm not going to be able to go on the next boys trip because I have this thing I have to do. Or we have to raise this amount of capital because we have to essentially bridge this gap to get there, right? And what did I not do? Did I not start raising capital early enough? Did I not go to enough meetings? Did I not have the proper, information in my OM? Was I not on the phone enough? I'm going back and looking at all that stuff because I missed. I can't let that happen again. We have to, and even in sales, right? I used to do door-to-door sales. I've done in-home sales. I used to go back, Ben, and analyze those sales. I'm analyzing this podcast as we go, right? Because everyone's different. Your approach, your thought process, the way you analyze and go through life in your career is different than the guy I had on the pod before you and my best friend who I had on the pod. Like him and we chop it up jokes all day, right? But his focus, well, he is raising capital too from high net worth people, but he's also, and interestingly enough, all three of us, had some rough stuff in our childhood. But my point is that everyone's not the same. I need to be able to analyze using EQ who my guest is to try to connect with you during the pod so you can essentially have an opportunity to get your thought and your message out to the public. And the better I am at doing that, right, the better I can connect with you, the more relaxed and comfortable you feel to be able to do that. So,
well, yeah, I mean, I think what you're kind of touching on, you need to have self-awareness. And so anytime, whether it was a success because we raised the money or made, got the deal or made the returns or got the promotion or whatever it is, you and I are similar in that you're always looking back and like, oh, I could have done it a little bit better, or I kind of, maybe cut some corners there, or, I would have done it this way if I could go back in time.
And you can do that on wins too, for the record. It doesn't have to be an L.
Oh yeah, of course.
Could we have done more? Could we have been better?
Yep.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, Ben, this has been amazing. There's a couple more things we're going to get into. Number one, I want to talk about some of your guys' successes. You guys raised $50 million at the firm last year, which in this environment is amazing. You have raised you've raised over $10 million in your career personally. You're obviously very sophisticated, very well spoken. Your firm has been around for 15 years. You guys are niched in. You guys are super focused. You're looking for a certain type of investor. If you find yourself looking for an asset class that is stable, that has asymmetric returns from a group that knows exactly what they're doing, why they're doing it, that is vertically integrated, that are San Diego-based guys and rep our Padres, or if you're not here in San Diego, but you like what Ben has had to share, reach out. Again, you guys like and subscribe the pod. All of his information will be in the description. Now we're moving to the Skip the Line hack part of the show. So Ben, again, not to dwell too much on childhood, but I'm a Section 8 welfare kid, raised single mother. I've told this story over and over and over. Didn't have much growing up, right? It's get out there, get after it. I have spoken about multiple times that I was lucky enough to be raised in church with good men around me, good moral fiber, do the right thing, be accountable.
Love that.
Be humble. Don't talk so much, stuff like that. Work in progress, bro. So yeah, all that. But at the end of the day, you got to get up and you got to get after it. Don't expect anyone to give you anything. Earn what you get. And I talk about that all the time. Do the work, get after it. So for me, part of the reason why I started this pod, Ben, is because there's often in my life, there has been people that have helped me and they didn't ask me for anything. So I honestly, when I started this pod, didn't realize you could make money off podcasting like in a legitimate way. Like that never crossed my mind. I wanted to essentially promote our brand. I feel like it's an amazing way to have a conversation. Like you and I can go have lunch, Ben, for an hour, chop it up and eat some tacos and drink a beer. But you're going to be like, hey dude, are you going to invest in my fund after this or what? Like, I don't know you that well, bro. Like we could chop it up. Don't get me wrong. And we've obviously gone to a lot of meetings where money wasn't exchanged. I'm not saying it can't be done. But what I'm saying is if you and I, there's a purpose for this. So going to a lot of meetings, I'm getting to the point. So going to a lot of meetings is great, but there's also sometimes where you have a sesh with a friend or a buddy or someone you just met and you're like, damn, we should have recorded that. So now I'm kind of like, when I have a conversation with a guy like you, we can chop it up and talk, make jokes, talk about what we do for business, but also potentially help someone down the line. It's like, dude, I want to raise $10 million. How'd Ben do it? Ben didn't have a perfect childhood. So it skipped the lines. That's the reason why I'm doing this, because I feel like it's an opportunity and for me a platform to be able to give back. And in addition to that, learn from guys like you, where you're getting to put your information, your experience, what you're trying to promote out there, but also have a conversation with me. And I get to learn, you get to share, you hopefully get to learn something. And now I know I don't have long hair, something like that. Ben, skip the line hacks. Let's go 1 through, what do you want to do? 1, 2, or 3?
1, 2, well, so skip the line hack. Okay. I think we kind of talked about it. If you don't want to go down that blueprint that we talked about, for anyone that's, looking at this and saying, hey, I want to raise 30 million, which I raised last year. So 30 million.
You raised 30 million?
30 million.
Okay.
Million.
How much have you raised in your career?
So I used to do institutional capital raising.
Yes.
Right. So those numbers just it's monopoly money. It's like, in the billions. But I worked under a senior partner and so forth. So I won't take credit for that. But as far as from me actually engaging with high net worth individuals, raising capital, that they're signing documents that I'm pitching them, it was 30 million last year. And then we had $20 million of 1031 rollover capital for deals that we sold. But in terms of just skipping the lines, I think just getting out and doing it, meaning build good relationships, do the hard work. Like, you need to know your stuff and know markets, know a discounted cash flow if it's real estate. Be a content expert. Like, you need to understand the ins and outs of whatever you're pitching, because if you don't understand it, your investors aren't going to understand it. They're not going to trust you. They're not going to invest.
And not only that, I would say, to add to that, I love that so much. Know what you're talking about. Know the source material. If I'm selling cars, I need to know everything about Toyota and that specific car.
Yep.
Right? And then, yeah, I love that. Go ahead.
So yeah, I think just go out and do it. Like, you don't need, I have my master's, I have a couple of degrees. I went and worked on Wall Street for 7 years, but I didn't need all of that experience. But what you do need is time and focus to actually learn something, and then start to actually put dollars behind, take a risk, and put your own money behind it, and start actually doing deals, and know that this is a long game. So I love your podcast, Skip the Lines, but I want to be a little bit controversial in that this is the long game. You can't skip too many lines. And when it comes to real estate investing, it really is, delayed gratification. The early years are tough. You're not going to make a lot of money. And, what you're exchanging for money in your early years is just knowledge, right? It's the sweat equity, and you got to put in the work. And as long as you're motivated and continue to build relationships and rely on other experts along the way, I think you could do, anything, especially in real estate, private equity real estate. I mean, it's not rocket science what we're doing. You brought up Elon Musk. We're not doing anything as complicated as sending rockets to Mars.
No, he's an engineer, dude.
Yeah, we're buying deals. It's all based off of discounted cash flow, understanding the math, and then understanding the risk, and then just build really strong partners for people that believe in you and trust in you, and will, trust you with their money, with their capital, and then just get out there and make it happen.
Love that. You guys, the real estate market and industry is looking for guys out there that are going to go out there and make it happen. It is a huge market. There's more room. Get after it. I will say that your skip the line take is not controversial. I had that thought. We're not blow and go guys, just for the record. There's a lot of delayed gratification in business, being an entrepreneur, in relationships, just being a good human, and then obviously in real estate. The purpose of this is, if you start at zero, if there are hacks or things that you can add to your life that help you elevate, learning by other people's mistakes quicker than walking through those mistakes yourself,
Yep.
then you're essentially skipping the line and gaining experience from others' experience.
I like it. No, it makes complete sense too.
Ben Schuster, as you can tell, he's analytical, well-spoken. Definitely should have been on the radio, maybe. I might send a wire, dude. Appreciate your time, brother. This has been extremely enjoyable.